Once upon a time, in a village named Irorun, there was a woman named Adunni. Adunni was very special. She made the most beautiful clothes in the whole village. Everyone loved Adunni's clothes. They were colorful like rainbows after rain. Adunni was also very kind. She always had a big smile for everyone, just like the sun shining bright in the sky. Adunni had three daughters. They were as pretty as the clothes she made. Adunni loved her daughters more than anything in the world. She always made sure they had the prettiest dresses to wear. Sometimes, Adunni also gave away some of her beautiful clothes to people who didn't have nice things to wear. Her house was always full of laughter, and the sound of her loom, the tool that helps in weaving clothes, it went click clack as Adunni worked on it. Her daughters would always play around, trying to help, making the house even more joyful. Everyone in the village loved to visit Adunni. They would bring her gifts of fruits and flowers because they appreciated her. Adunni's kindness made the village a happier place. The whole village was like a big family, with Adunni and her kind heart, making sure everyone was smiling and dressed in beautiful clothes. But in the village of Irorun, something new was about to happen in Adunni's life. One day, while she was busy weaving, Adunni felt a sudden pain. "Oh!" she exclaimed, a bit scared. People nearby ran to help her and quickly took her to see the wise healer of the village. The healer, with gentle hands and kind voice, told Adunni, "You're going to have a baby." Adunni's heart filled with joy. She couldn't wait to tell her husband, Babatunde, and her three beautiful daughters about the new little one they would soon meet. Months went by, and Adunni's stomach grew bigger and bigger. It was not easy with the pregnancy, but the villagers were always there for her. The day came, the day she was about to give birth. Adunni was in pain for 3 whole days. Then, there she was, a little baby. This baby was different. Her skin was pale, and her hair shone like spun gold. Adunni's heart was a mix of rain and sunshine. She had a beautiful little girl, but the baby was an albino. And in the village, the people's belief was that albino brought bad luck. Adunni, with tears and hope, named her baby Yetunde. But not everyone saw Yetunde as a gift. When Babatunde, Adunni's husband, saw his new daughter, he was filled with fear instead of joy. "This is bad luck," he said with a frown. "She cannot stay with us." Adunni's heart broke into a million pieces. How could her little Yetunde, so small and precious, be bad luck? Despite Babatunde's words, Adunni couldn't let her go. "She is our daughter, our little gift," Adunni pleaded. Babatunde finally agreed to let Yetunde stay, but on one condition: "I don't want to see her around me." This made Adunni very sad, but she hugged Yetunde tighter, promising to always protect her. Her daughters didn't know what to make of their new sister. They had heard their father and saw how the villagers whispered. They kept their distance, making Yetunde feel very lonely. Adunni tried her best to keep her family happy. She worked harder than ever, weaving beautiful clothes, spreading joy and kindness, even when her own heart was heavy. But Babatunde grew more distant, blaming every problem on Yetunde. Adunni lost many friends and customers. People in the village started avoiding her, all because of the whispers and fear about Yetunde's pale skin. But Adunni never stopped loving Yetunde. She knew her daughter was special, not bad luck. "We will show them, my angel," Adunni would always say. "We will show them all how wonderful you are." And so, amidst the whispers and loneliness, Adunni's love for Yetunde shone as bright as the moon. She hoped that one day, everyone would see Yetunde as she did, not as a sign of bad luck, but as a precious gift to be cherished. Adunni, with her heart as big as ever, tried so hard to keep everyone happy. She wove her beautiful clothes faster, hoping the bright colors and soft texture would remind the village of the joy they once shared. But it was tough, very tough. Babatunde found it harder to smile. Every time he looked at Yetunde, he only saw bad luck. Whenever trouble came, he pointed at Yetunde saying, "She is the cause of our misfortune," is what caught Adunni's heart deeply. Now older, Adunni's daughter felt stuck in the middle. They loved their mother so much and wanted to make her happy, but they also heard the whispers. Yetunde is different, the villagers would say, their eyes wide with worry. So they stayed away from Yetunde, leaving her to play all by herself. It wasn't just at home where things were hard. When Adunni went to market with her clothes, the same clothes that everyone once loved, people looked the other way. We don't want bad luck, they whispered. Adunni's heart was heavy. She used to be the heart of Irorun, welcomed everywhere with open arms. Now, because of these whispers and fears, she felt alone. Even so, she kept weaving and loving, especially loving her little Yetunde. To make end meet, Adunni started doing small jobs here and there. She cleaned houses, fetched water, and did anything she could to help her family eat. The job were hard and paid very little. It was not like before when her beautiful clothes sold for good money. Through all this, Adunni's love for Yetunde never faded. My little moonbeam, she would call Yetunde, holding her close. You are as perfect just as you are. Adunni hoped that one day, the village would see Yetunde's light too, but the shadow seemed to grow longer. Babatunde's sadness turned into anger, and the distance between him and Adunni grew. The house that once rang with laughter now echoed with silence, except for the click-clack of Adunni's loom and Yetunde's soft jiggles. In the heart of Adunni, there was a light that refused to go out. She believed in better days ahead. We will find our way through these shadows, Adunni whispered into the night, her eyes filled with tears, but her spirit unbroken. For Yetunde, for us all. As the sun rose and set over the village of Irorun, Yetunde, the little girl with skin as pale as the moon, grew taller. She was no longer the tiny baby that had caused so much tear. Now she was a beautiful girl with eyes that sparkled like stars and a smile that could light up the darkest room. But even as Yetunde grew, the whispers didn't stop. There goes the girl, people would say, pointing and not bothering to whisper anymore. Yetunde heard them, but she tried to keep a smile, just like her mother, Adunni had taught her. Adunni watched her daughter grow, feeling both proud and sad. Proud because Yetunde was kind and smart, sad because she knew how lonely Yetunde felt. Yetunde's sister, now older, still kept their distance, listening more to the villagers' fear than to their mother's plea of love and acceptance. Babatunde, her father, spoke less and less. He worked on his farm from sunrise to sunset, trying to escape the home that reminded him of what he thought was his misfortune. At night, he would look at Yetunde and then quickly look away, as if afraid of what he might feel. Yetunde tried to make friends, but it was hard. When she went to fetch water, the other children would leave, their mothers calling their name. Come here, don't go near her, they would say, their voices filled with unnecessary fear. They whispered and pointed fingers, saying she was bad luck. Yetunde's heart would ache, but she just picked up her water and headed home, tears rolling down her eyes. Even at home, things were not easy. As siblings, who should have been her friends, stayed away, afraid of being called unlucky too. She often felt very lonely. At home, Yetunde learned to weave from Adunni. Her fingers were quick and sure, and soon she was making clothes as beautiful as her mother's. You have a gift, Yetunde, Adunni would say, her voice filled with pride. Your hands weave magic. But outside their home, no one wanted to see the beauty Yetunde created. They only saw her pale skin. One day, as Yetunde sat weaving with her mother, she asked, Mama, why don't they like me? Adunni looked at her daughter, her own heart breaking. My child, she said softly, sometimes people fear what they don't understand. But know this, you are loved deeply and truly by those who matter. As Yetunde grew into her beauty, both inside and out, she also grew into her solitude. The villagers' rejection became a familiar pain, one she learned to live with, but never understood. Her world was small, limited to her home, her mother, and her weaving. The village of Irorun, with all of its colors and life, felt like a distant dream, one where Yetunde longed to belong, but she knew she never would. Despite everything, Yetunde's spirit remained unbroken. She was kind, even to those who were unkind to her. She shared a smile, even when no one smiled back, and she loved, even when she wasn't loved in return. Then one day, after many years of feeling this way, Yetunde made a big decision. She decided she could no longer live in a place that only saw her as different, a place where being herself was seen as wrong. "Mama," she said one quiet evening, her voice steady but her eyes sad, "I need to find a place where I belong." Adunni felt a storm of emotions. She knew the pain of her daughter's rejection. She had felt it as her own. Yet, the thought of Yetunde leaving, stepping into a world so big and uncertain, filled her with fear. "Yetunde, my child, are you sure?" Adunni whispered. Yetunde nodded, her decision firm. "I need to find a place where my light can shine, Mama. Where people see me, not just my skin." Adunni saw the resolve in Yetunde's eyes, the same resolve that had helped her face each day in a village that turned its back on her. The night before Yetunde's departure was long. Adunni held her daughter, sharing stories of their ancestors, of bravery and of love. "Wherever you go," Adunni said, "carry our love with you. It is your shield and your strength." As dawn broke over Irorun, Yetunde packed a small bag. She didn't have much, some clothes, a bit of food, and her weaving tools. With these hands, she told herself, I would weave a new life. Babatunde, silent for years, found no words now. His heart was heavy, a mix of regret and a father's worry. Yetunde's sisters watched from distance, their emotions tangled in shame and confusion. Adunni walked Yetunde to the edge of the village. The morning was quiet around them. There, she gave Yetunde a blessing. "Go with the strength of our ancestors," Adunni said, her voice strong despite her tears. "Find your place, my child, and know that here you always have a home." Yetunde turned to leave, her steps determined. She looked back once, memorizing the sight of her mother, the woman who had taught her love and strength. Then she walked on into a future unknown. Behind her, Adunni stood watching, her heart both proud and broken. She whispered a prayer to the winds, asking them to carry love to Yetunde and protect her on her journey. Yetunde walked for days. She crossed rivers and hills, each step taking her further from Irorun, further from the pain. And then, one sunny morning, she saw a new village, nestled between green hills and sparkling streams. It was different, peaceful and welcoming. With hesitant steps, Yetunde entered. She expected whispers, stares, the all too familiar signs of rejection. But instead, she found smiles, warm, genuine smiles from strangers who didn't even know her story but welcomed her all the same. In this new village, no one whispered about her pale skin. No one looked at her with fear. Instead, they saw her for who she was, a young woman with a talent of weaving and a heart full of kindness. Yetunde, carrying the weaving skills her mother had taught her, began to weave. Her fingers danced on the loom, creating fabrics that told stories, fabrics that shimmered with colors of sunrise and the calm of sunset. The villagers were amazed. "Look at this beauty," they said, touching the soft clothes she made. And just like that, Yetunde found her place among them. She was no longer the girl to whisper about, but the weaver whose hands spun magic. Word of Yetunde's weaving spread quickly. People came from far and wide, not just to buy her clothes, but to meet the remarkable young woman behind it. Her reputation grew, and with it, her happiness. For the first time in her life, Yetunde felt a sense of belonging. She was invited to dinners, to celebrations. Her circle of friends grew. They didn't see Yetunde the albino. They saw Yetunde the weaver, the friend, the cherished member of their community. Her little one became a place of laughter and light. She used her success to help others, remembering her mother's lesson of kindness and generosity. Yetunde became known not just for her weaving, but for her big heart. One day, as she sat weaving under the shade of a large tree, she realized something important. She had found her place in the world, not by changing who she was, but by living her truth. Among these people, Yetunde wasn't just accepted, she was celebrated. As season changed and Yetunde's life blossomed, something magical happened. Among those who admired her work was Prince Olawale, the son of the village king. Prince Olawale was kind and wise, beloved by all. He had heard tales of Yetunde's beautiful weaving and her even more beautiful art. Curious, he visited her stall under the guise of buying clothes, but as soon as he saw her, he knew there was something special about her. Their friendship blossomed into love, a love deep and true, built on respect and shared dreams. One day, under the shade of same tree, Prince Olawale asked her to be his wife. "With you, I see a future bright and beautiful," he said. Yetunde, with tears of joy, accepted. Her heart, once heavy with sorrow, now soared with love. Before they married, Olawale asked Yetunde if there was anything she wished to do, and Yetunde knew it was time to face her past. She said, "Before our wedding, my lovely mother must be there. She must bless our marriage." So, with Prince Olawale by her side, Yetunde returned to Irorun. The villagers were stunned. "Is that Yetunde?" they whispered, amazed at how she shone like a star. She saw her mother, Adunni. Tears filled their eyes as they embraced. Adunni couldn't believe it. The once rejected girl was now a princess, loved and happy. Yetunde's sister, however, had not found happiness. They lived in regret and shame. Seeing Yetunde, they felt both guilt and sorrow. Unable to face her, they left Irorun to find new beginnings of their own. Yetunde, though sad, understood not all stories end together. She asked her mother to come live with her in her new village, a place where love and kindness ruled. With tears of joy, Adunni agreed. Before leaving Irorun, Yetunde spoke to the villagers. "Never look down on anyone because of how they look. Everyone is special, no matter their color." Her words touched their hearts, planting seeds of change. And so, Yetunde left Irorun again, but this time with her mother and her head held high. She had returned not as a rejected girl, but as a princess, strong and kind. She showed them all that kindness wins, that love is, that everyone deserves a chance to shine. Her story was not just a fairy tale, it was a lesson in love, acceptance, and the magic of second chance. Her story became guiding light for both her old village and her new one. The moral of Yetunde's tale spread far and wide. Never look down on anyone because of how they look. Everyone is special, no matter their color. I hope you enjoyed this story. If so, please like this video, comment what you learned from the tales, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more interesting tales. Bye!